And now, please join me in welcoming Spanda.
Thank you very much. My name is Spanda. It's a spiritual name that my spirit guides asked me to give myself, or more correctly, they said choose a spiritual name at a certain point. There's nothing wrong with, someone saying, I'm Billy Bob, and, I talk to God or something like that. But as Adyashanti and other spiritual teachers have said, it's an honorific, but it's also, it holds energy, and it's not about me, it's about spirit. And so the name is a title, and it helps remind me in this moment in the stream of life, and as this water of life is flowing, there was someone before me, and there's someone after me, and it's not about me personally. And it helps my ego not get too huge. Especially when I get, tens and tens of thousands of people saying thank you, which is amazing for growing your halo. How do you get your halo bigger? Just have more thousands of people say thank you. The more people say thank you, the more gratitude you get, the higher you go up. So there's a little secret. Spirit said, yeah, it's okay to say that. I'm going to say a little bit about myself so you have some context. Where is this coming from? Then I'm going to explain, as Spirit guides me, heaven specifically, and the 9 dimensions as I see them. I'm splitting the pie into 9 pieces, but if someone says there's 11 dimensions or whatever, it's just like, how are you splitting the pie? It's fine. That's just what Spirit is talking to me about. So I guess I can go back to infancy. Do you remember being an infant? Some people do. And I had like a fluorescent light bulb, like consciousness coming on and off. And there'd be a day of consciousness and then nothing for some weeks and then come on again. And one of them was a holiday. And everybody's at the house, one of my aunt's houses, I think it was Aunt Lucy. So there's like 30 people over there. Everyone's trying to get dressed and the ladies are putting makeup. Everyone's using the bathrooms and there's nowhere for me to have a bath. And my mom says, he's getting a bath, even though there's no bathroom. I'm going to clean the kitchen sink perfectly, and I'm going to give Raulito, my birth name being Raul, which means coat of arms, by the way. And Raulito is like saying Johnny or Sammy. I'm going to give him a bath. And so there's, soap and the water, and I'm splashing. And then years later, I go to that kitchen again, visiting my aunt and uncle, and it's this big. And I was like, how did I have room to splash around? I was so tiny. But I had complete awareness, and the room, the energy, what people are saying, the whole conversation. So at some point, the consciousness stays on. When was that for you? Were you 2 years old? When does memory stay? It's even hard to think about, right? Very consistently. When do you have like very consistent memory? How many of you have what in ufology they call missing time? Just gaps, like 3-4 years, nothing. 4 years old, 5, 6, 7 years old, something. Just gaps. A few of you. Missing time. That's not our subject matter, but that's going to come up later. Spirit wanted to talk about that. Because this is part of heaven and a part of the dimensions. What are you remembering? And why are those gaps? Because when you were very little, you knew things that do not conform to society's norms. And you were told, stop saying that, or that's not true, or that doesn't work in our church, or whatever. And because of that, you have some trauma. And if you saw a UFO, or you saw angels, or you saw a ghost, or you saw something, or you hear something, you will simply edit that out. Or people tell me, I saw a UFO. But as we go deeper into meditation and find out that's a cover, and it wasn't a UFO, it was an angel or something. So you'll make something, there's sometimes layers. Something to think about. And please, as I'm talking, try to go back. 7 years old, 6, 5, 4. 4 is very important because you're forming your personality between 4 and 5 years old. And 5 years old, your nervous system can hold your personality. And I'm me. And you create a narrative. You're a being of story. If you don't have a story, you're not you. Your story is, I was born here, and these are my parents, and here's my story, and here's my teens and my 20s. And if you don't have that story, you don't exist as a discrete person. Okay. So we go back further. 2 years old, 1, and before your birth. And you're in heaven. And so this is all coming from when I was 4 years old. And I had an awakening. So before the awakening, what I thought was normal consciousness, after 4 years old was like a fog. Everything was very dull and kind of lifeless. And then after this awakening, everything was scintillating, alive, and hyper-reality. Every little bit of detail of the floor and your clothing and the chair and the walls and everything. And people who have had altered states of consciousness with LSD or different things like that have said that things can have explosive reality. And somehow I was able to tap into that altered state of consciousness through no effort of my own. What are you doing at 4 years old? Was I meditating for years? I'd only been on the planet 4 years. Was I praying? No. I mean, I was praying in the way my parents were telling me to pray, that I didn't know what I was doing. Had I earned grace, as they say in Christianity, or merit in Buddhism? What had I accomplished as a 4-year-old? So why? Why did this happen to me? I have a friend who's a Christian mystic named Charles Osborne. He was an atheist. Charles, when you pass away, what happens? Nothing. Charles, is there anywhere else? Is there somewhere we go to? No, there's nothing. He had a spontaneous awakening in his 30s. And now Charles is my friend that talks to God and Jesus and does what God says. He's obedient to God. Why? Why did he have this awakening from complete secularism, materialism, from having no faith? So I woke up at 4. So, and you can wake up, and you can wake up again and again. So I'm going to say things in somewhat non-linearly as the divine is instructing me to do. But let's try to stay a little bit more linear. So I'm 4 years old, and there's brownstones. Anybody know about New York, New Jersey, brownstones? So apartments, upstairs apartment, downstairs apartment, and a stairwell in between. Well, I'm talking about 100 years old in the 1960s. It's still there, actually. Big wood staircase with that big thick carpet going down the stairs, and that has the brass, what do you call those? That holds the carpet in. So imagine 100-year-old building. And my parents and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle are talking, so I'm 4 years old, and my entertainment for the afternoon is running up and down the stairs. And I'm in the stairwell with all the wood paneling, and I'm painting you a picture here, 100-year-old space. And I stop from running up and down, and there's an explosion of light. I don't know if the room got lighter, but I sensed everything illuminate. And I felt I was brighter too, not just the room. I felt light within me. And then everything came into that hyper reality. I could see every little dust mote in the air and the grain of the wood and every tiny little bit of the carpet. And I still can. Sometimes when I'm talking with you, I might kind of be looking funny. It's like, is he looking at something else? I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at every tiny little detail. It's all coming at me almost at the same volume. Whereas if people are talking over here, you'll say like, well, did you see them talking? Like, who? I'm talking to you. I didn't see that. But I can see, feel, hear everything. It's all coming at me like almost like a kaleidoscope or something like that. Anyway, so there was this explosion of light and energy. And what I realized much later was my adult voice saying, always remember this moment. And that was the key. That's why I'm Spanda, because the divine wanted to remind me of heaven and give me the support, the support, the encouragement, the energy to keep going forward and not forget heaven. Because at 4, we do forget. Who has any memory of 4 at all? Or is it gone? Totally, some. Okay, great. And some it's gone. Did you think about heaven or the angels or anything? Was there anything about spirit, or were you praying? I was praying. Okay, so if you want to hear something wise, ask a little kid. They're so much more clear than we are. And then there's all these layers of things that happen afterward. And we have disappointments and things. And then we're just layers and layers of energy, which is, why bother? Or I don't know, or I'm too tired or sick, or I've had too many emotional wounds or disappointments or what have you, or things didn't work out how I had wished or something. And so that kind of thickness is kind of there. Or you just feel tired, or, entropy. Entropy. What is entropy? It takes more energy to clean an automobile than to let it get dirty. We live in an entropic world. It takes more energy to improve than to just let everything collapse. And therefore we have our humanity. You ever wonder, why is it so easy for things to get bad? Government, academia, whatever, entertainment, whatever we're doing, and how much energy it takes to lift everything up. That's called entropy. That's part of the physics of our universe. Something that doesn't exist in heaven. It's actually the reverse. The norm in heaven is wholeness, symmetry, proportion, perfection. So I have this explosion of light, and between 4 and 9, I'm hearing spirit. Spirit guides are talking to me all day, every day. And when I go to kindergarten, I'm walking to school, and they're teaching me. The angels are teaching me about life, the universe, the planet Earth, and I'm just getting all this data, all this energy and information, and I'm speaking too, which is very important. If you want to connect to heaven, if you want to connect to the angels, God, or if you prefer goddess or source, whatever you want to say, you have to talk. We're taught to listen, but we're not taught to talk. If you're not talking to God, source, or whatever you call it, you're not building the phone line. Or young people, I would say, your mobile signal. But I was born in 1964. I'm saying phone line. Do you want to connect? Do you want to connect to God or the divine? Do you want to have access to your energy, information, abilities, resources from God? Because you are an angel 1,000,000 years from now as you evolve. But there is no time. You're already there. You're already a super being. Do you want to get happier? I do. Do you want to be happier? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to heal? Do you want to grow? What do you want? Do you want more peace? Love? Do you want to be of more, do you want to contribute more? What is it that you want? You all want something. All of that's available to you through your connection with the divine. And one thing that Spirit wants to say that's very important is we're not taught that more will be given to you as you become a servant of the divine. So people tell me, well, I'm not a saint, or I'm not some psychic person, or I'm not a healer, or I'm not a teacher. I can't do what you're doing, or how can I be of so much help? I'm not tall enough, right? Healthy enough, smart enough, or even just good looking enough. If you're very beautiful, you can get 1 million views on YouTube because you're gorgeous. I'm not pretty enough, right? Or I'm not wealthy enough, my family's not wealthy enough. Or whatever's the excuse, I'm not enough. Or maybe you have all of that. I'm not resilient enough. I'm not courageous enough. And so success is not the smartest person or the most talented person. Success comes to the most resilient person. Your ability to handle stress is how you will achieve in life. There are geniuses, they don't have the ability to handle stress, they plateau. All these things can be given to you. If you need to be 3 inches taller to fulfill your mission, God can do that. I've seen people get more beautiful. I have photos to prove it. I've seen people become more ideal. God, the divine, whatever word works for you, will give you what you don't have to go where you need to go. And we're not taught that. We're taught, this is all I have. And I have to do things based on what I have. I don't have anything else. Somebody else has that. But the divine is looking for those of you that are willing to be servants of the light. I will be a force for good in the world. And there's almost 8 billion people, and there's, as angels look down on us from heaven, there's very few people that are saying, I will boldly be the hands of God in the world, the heart of God. I will love people. I will be of some help, whatever little help I can be. Because most people aren't listening to the divine. And we don't practice talking to the divine. And so Spirit is saying, wow, there's some beautiful potential there, but maybe next lifetime, or maybe 5 lifetimes from now, if you believe in multiple lifetimes. And it doesn't matter if you're 14 years old, 40, 80. You are a miracle, and you can be of miraculous benefit to this planet, even if you have 1 week left. And it could be something that the angels are applauding. And whatever you feel like you don't have will be given to you. Why? Because there are so many people that are not listening to the angels. And if they did listen, they won't do anything about it. Oh, I got this great idea, but I'm just little old me, so why should I do it? And then there's people like me. Why was I given so much support as a 4-year-old? Seems unfair. It's like I won the lottery, 20 times in a row or something. Why was I so supported? And I've talked to spiritual teachers all over the world, especially in my early 20s, and they said, you have a mission. You were given the support because you have this destiny to do this. And I mess up all the time, and I'm flawed. But what I do is I don't give up. And I always come back to, how can I serve the divine? And I'm looking repeatedly at some of you because I have a message for you. And because also just I really like your energy a lot. Okay, heaven. So we come from heaven. And so the energy and information I'm giving you right now is coming from that experience as a 4-year-old, but also it wasn't just ideal after that. Being psychic boy is cute. Being psychic teenager, not so much. Pimples and wanting to date girls and also talking to God. So when I was 14, I said, stop asking me questions. Because everybody was asking me questions, even my parents, the neighbors, my sisters, the cousins. I said to everybody, I'm officially, it was like Lucy in the Peanuts, she had this psychiatric, I'm closed for the day. No, don't ask me any more questions. I just want to be, awkward teenager. I got very self-conscious. When you're 5, so I'm running through Newark. I was born in Newark, New Jersey. And I'm talking as fast as I can. I'm running through Newark, New Jersey, airport. the Newark airport. This high, lower than this podium. So I'm tugging on this person's coat and giving them this message. And here comes my dad, Joseph. And the people are staring at me like, what is this little kid doing and what is he saying? These strangers. And my dad does, what he says every day is, my son likes to run up to people and talk to them, and what else can you say? And so they go about their way. We're in the airport, very busy. And my dad gets down on one knee and he's looking at me. And he says, you're a little kid and it's a big airport and we just want to know where you are. And here you keep running off, so would you not run off anymore? You're like, yes, Daddy. Of course I did keep doing it constantly. And so just imagine, I'm 5 years old, 6 years old, I'm just doing all these messages. But I get into my teens and I don't want to do this anymore. And it's awkward, it feels awkward. And so I shut down. I'm not listening anymore. And at 16, I start drinking. And I'm a pass-out drunk. So I never left a party on my own 2 feet, and I had enabling friends. So I'm going out of the party like this, I'm out. I'm not conscious. And they lean me against the front door and ring the front doorbell, and that's it. So I'm doing that every week until I'm 23, 16 to 23. So no quality of life. I'm drinking half the week and recovering half the week. I'm miserable. Isn't this something? Here I have this. How many people would want the angels instructing them every day as a child? I had all this support, but something happened. This is karma, or a Sanskrit word that means destiny. So then, okay, no quality of life, I'm going to stop. And thank goodness I could stop. But the alcohol is just covering the problem. If someone's alcoholic, anybody know someone that's alcoholic or used to be alcoholic? That's not the problem. The problem is something that's so painful, alcoholism is preferable. Once you stop the alcohol, you have to deal with the thing, the phobia, the whatever. Okay, so I go into depression after the alcohol. So now I'm 24, and until 27, suicidal depression. I want to die. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just thinking, can I get to 4 o'clock? Can I get to 5 o'clock? Because then when the sun comes up, I start feeling better. So I was miserable, even more miserable, actually. And then finally, I called the suicide hotline one night. I'm 26, something like that. And the best thing in the world happened to me in that I got the worst suicide hotline operator on earth. He was horrible. Stumbling and bumbling, and I don't know what to say, and this is my first day or something. And I just said, you're miserable. Try saying this, that, respond this way, start this way. And I was explaining to him how to be a better suicide hotline operator. So then I get off he's, thank you so much. And he's like taking notes and everything. So after the call, it's now getting to where it's maybe 4:30 is better. Cause then, I can 60 minutes and it's 5:30. It's the morning's coming. And I'm thinking, if I can help someone while I'm willing to end it all, maybe I can do something with my life. So, and I don't know that guy's name, but I keep mentioning him as a way of gratitude. And I'll shake his hand in heaven. Okay, so how do I heal? I start meditating. So then I start meditating 3 hours a day, every day, not all at once. Meditation hour in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. And I did not fail. I did not skip a day for 6 years. And in that time, this theory of heaven and the dimensions came to me, and Spirit has been teaching me, and I've been helping many people. And then the whole, going to Japan and Norway and all these things are happening. I spent way too much time on the story part. But Spirit is telling me what to say. And we can become good friends and spend hours talking about these things. So you're coming from heaven. You're choosing your parents. I'm choosing to come into the physical world, to the earth, and you influence your parents to have you. Why do they fall in love? Why do they want to have another kid? It's your fault. Have you ever heard someone say, well, we had the kid and then I don't know, we fell out of love and, why did we get married in the first place? And I don't know what I was thinking. Well, that was the kid. You really like that person. Let's date them, right? Have a kid, call them. You're telling your parents what name to call you because there's energy in that. When you tell me your name, hope to meet some of you afterward. I get so much energy and information from your name. Okay. So then you're born, and you're coming through these dimensions. I'm going to start from where you come from, and then coming through the dimensions. Heaven. So this is dimension 10. This is unity consciousness. It's all pervasive realm of light and no differentiation. So there's just the divine. There's not any individuation. There's no one there. It's just the God realm. Then we get to dimension 9. There are 9 colors. We can't see 2 of them yet. We will. There used to just be red and black originally, and then we got all the other colors in succession based on their vibration of the color. We will get color 8 and color 9 over time. Okay, what people call totality or unity consciousness, 9th dimension. So there's beginnings of differentiation, but it's a form, an energy that has space and the unity within it in a way that's hard to describe. And so there are stories of gods on our planet, like God of war, God of love, and whatnot. So this is where these individuations of the divine happen. It's not actually like that religion over there and the other one over there, and they don't agree. It's simply there's a realm of total unity, and then the next level isn't just a bunch of people, it's what humans call deities. And I'm not sure they call themselves deities or anything like that, but they're just those great beings. Maybe we could call them archangels or whatever your paradigm is. Okay. And then also in the 8th, as we come into the 8th dimension, true forms. So I think Plato said something about that, like we have triangles, but there's some kind of pure triangle in the universe somehow that our triangles are based on. I'm not saying that very well. 7th dimension is angels. So now we have visual color spectrum, which we see as purple. It's actually more violet. And responsibility and authority is coming from this dimension. You're coming closer to the earth. Can you visualize it? You're coming through all these layers of energy. The 6th dimension I call the dimension of powers. This is where, there's yogis that can stop their heart, or they can be out in freezing weather in the Himalayas and they're fine. What I do, able to hear spirit, give people a prediction, or what I call perfect timing. So I have a community of people that work and train with me, and I'll say something as if we're in the same room, but they're on the other side of the world. And they're just like, you answered what we were just saying. So there's this connection. And also timing. I say to them, blessings, and it's like, well, that's what I was just thinking about you, or I was asking for blessing in that moment. the color indigo of this realm of powers and siddhis, they call it in India, or supernatural powers. Dimension 5, which is blue. And this is where you're hearing spirit and you're communicating to spirit. If you get anything out of what I'm saying today, please talk to spirit. You're only doing half of it just by listening. Please. And it's not always just about asking questions. Like, please help me. Yeah, we know. Say thank you. The absolute best prayer is thank you. And the absolute best thing that can happen to you in this life is people say thank you to you. Be the person that people want to have gratitude for. So we're really in a universe of gratitude. The absolute best thing is thank you, God. And the absolute best thing is for people to be grateful that you were born and that you're doing something. So it's really a universe of gratitude. Now we're in the dimension 4, getting closer. Realm of the heart, emotional vibration, which is all of manifestation. What you feel is what's going to happen. This is a dimension of the color green, dimension of love. Even though the highest love is, of course, in the 10th dimension, but this is love expressed. So there's a saying, love blows like the wind, or feels like the wind. So what does that mean? You can't see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind. So if you say, I love you, and the person says, I don't feel the love, well, we want our love to be felt. We want people to feel the love, not just say it. So what is the effect of your love? Now we're in the golden realm of the third dimension. Golden energy, this is where creativity comes from. So I think I'll come to this talk this morning, or I want to take on this hobby, or this is what I wanted to do as a career, or I feel like I'm traveling here. I want to have this experience. Second dimension, actually below this universe, color orange. And this is duality, which we need. So, so that there's you and me, so that there's me and this podium. If you don't have duality, you couldn't even be able to walk. You couldn't function. And then the dimension 1, which is red. And these are not hierarchical. They're all equal. They're all important. They're more like, think about these color vibrations as the color wheel. You ever seen a color wheel before? Look at the color wheel later today or this week when you get a chance. Spirit tells me looking at the color wheel as far as vibration is much more accurate than the linearity of it. And red is compassion, caring, nurturing. I call it the mommy color. Administrators are focused on the dimension 1 and this red vibration. These are people that take care of others. I call them the administrators. Okay, I'm going to say a little bit about hell, not too much, but there is a spiritual teaching in it. So each of these dimensions has 3 layers. So upper 5th dimension, middle 5th dimension, lower 5th dimension, for example. So in the 4th dimension, in the lower third of the 4th dimension, there's what we call hell realm. And so it's not a location. It is a group of people who don't want to go to the light, and they don't want to let go of anger, fears, and limiting beliefs. And here's the shocker. You are already in one of these dimensions right now, including the hell realm, which is a pocket universe in the lower third of the 4th dimension. And you already know where you are because you know your thoughts and feelings. And the only thing keeping you from experiencing that dimension is your body's in the way. Your body is a veil between you and these higher realities, And when your body's gone, you're going to where your current mental and emotional state are. So if you're very angry and very limited in your thinking and very fearful, that's where you're going when you pass away. So you can greatly improve where you're going by becoming as good a person as you can right now, including good to yourself. Love yourself, take care of yourself. Be compassionate with yourself, forgive yourself. And so it's an enlightenment. Spirit says you have to say enlightenment in every talk, no matter what. Enlightenment is a process of subtraction. Subtract what? Subtract anger, subtract fear, and subtract limiting beliefs. And if you can't remember, call me, text me. People say, you're too busy, you're planning your Japan trip, I don't want to bother you. I want you to bother me. Spanda, what were those 3 things we're supposed to subtract? I'll stop the logistics for the Japan trip for a minute, and I will talk to you. I want people to, I want people to bother me. They say, "Oh, you're too busy. You're doing this. You're doing these logistics. Your Dubai trip. Your trip to France." I will stop what I'm doing, and I will talk to you about the more important thing, which is, how do we get to heaven? How do we get to enlightenment? This process of subtraction. What did you say, Spanda? What are the 3 things to subtract? I'm happy to talk with you about that. Subtract anger, subtract fear, subtract limiting beliefs. I want to be careful about our timing. I think we should go into questions.
I lost my son a few months ago. He lived with me, and we were so close. I had him all my life because he never married, and I just wonder how much he knows about me, or if he was so loving and caring to me. I just wonder if he's doing his own thing, or if he really knows I'm here.
That's great energy. He goes on to great things. That's a very auspicious name that you gave him. That sounds like an author or something, or maybe a general or something. That's a beautiful, powerful name. So he goes into power. Some of you believe in that you're going to come back in future lifetimes. Some of you don't. Those are different spirit groups, and they're both right. It's all good. I believe in future lifetimes. He's going to come back, and what he's doing in his spirit path is learning to be responsible so that he can then take on this great authority. And so his whole future path as a soul is about being an authority, being a person of how to deal with being powerful, but also be gentle and compassionate to people. And beautiful lifetime. And he's in a happy place. There's lots of water. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I see the sun reflecting on the water. It's very beautiful. It's a lake. It's not moving water. It's like a still, beautiful lake. It's actually winter where he is. There's snow. And it's very beautiful. He, as many people do, they wake up in a hospital because that's like, oh, something's going on. Well, that must be time to go to the hospital. So people wake up in a spirit hospital, and there's spirit doctors. And then there's a garden in the center of the hospital, some kind of opening and greenery. And once you get acclimated, start walking in the garden. And then in the garden, they go, I'm not on Earth anymore, and I'm somewhere else, and they acclimate. And that can take 3 days, it can take 3 months. It's common to take 3 months to adjust. But he says, I'm okay. And he's learning.
Hello, Q. I wanted to ask you if you could relate incidents throughout your life where you interacted with people and gave them, predictions or told them something would happen. That would be interesting for the audience, I think. Thank you.
Okay. Gosh, there's thousands and thousands of those. I don't remember when I was a toddler. I'll give you one. I'm in the airport going to Japan. I'm in Narita Airport in Tokyo, and I'm always looking at everyone. I love the people meeting their friends and family and hugging, and someone going off on some adventure or going to work or their military, and I'm sending blessings to everyone because that's what an angel does. And I try to be an angel as much as possible. It doesn't matter if I'm a million years away from that. I try to do the best I can to be an angel today, now, and what would an angel do? And angels bless all and everything, in every moment. Blessings, blessings, blessings. In every instant. Bless the floor, the lights, the windows. Bless the people and the birds and the animals. And so I'm blessing everyone and everything in the airport, and I'm also feeling. And then there's this very, very bright woman, this Japanese woman. I'm in Narita Airport, Japanese airport. And she's just shining much more brightly than everyone. And I'm quite bold. So I walk up, hello, I don't know if she can speak English or not. Hello, ma'am, you have a very beautiful light. It's okay if I'm, bothering you or not, but just wanted to say hello. Oh, thank you. Yes, I do this energy healing called Reiki, an elderly woman. And she studied when she was very young with the founder of Reiki. And fantastic energy. And she was just smiling, and we had a nice moment. But there's, thousands and thousands of experiences like that.
We've had a pretty bad 3 years.
Yeah.
Are you getting any messages from Spirit about, what we need to know today?
So the opening to the next world, which was foretold in 2012, and we've known that for thousands of years, and that was predicted, is really a window of an opening and a closing between 2012 and 2024. That's what the angels say. So we're almost there. And when you wake up, all your stuff is there. So awakening doesn't mean you're suddenly happy and you're healthy and you're fine. You awaken, but everything that was unhealed is startlingly available, like your neuroses and anything psychotic about you or your fears or anything. So you wake up and then you have to heal. So there's awakening and there's this spiritual psychology. You have to heal your mind. I can't remember the name of the philosopher now, I'm sorry. But he said, you have a fan and you pull the plug and the fan keeps spinning for a while. It doesn't stop. So you wake up, but all your stuff is there. You wake up and your shadow wakes up too. And now you have to chop wood and carry water. You have to heal. So we woke up in 2012 and all the yuck was there that we were pretending wasn't there. And so, I don't want to say too much, but People's Liberation Army, China, CIA, FBI, all the spooks and all that. So that's all coming to the surface. And I don't know if you guys heard about those strange explosions that were happening all over the world. Some people did. And so there's a World War III going on, but since we have nukes, we can't full out battle as nations anymore. So it's kind of like spy war. It's all under the surface, including literally under the surface, like, caverns and things like that. I don't want to talk too much about that. But anyway, what it is spiritually, what we're here to talk about is we're awakening, and now all of this stuff is coming up, and we have to face everything about ourselves, our government and academia and religions and corruption and everything. And it's time to heal, and we are healing, and things will get better and better after 2024.
I'm curious, when you were talking about that you shut down at age 16
Yeah.
and until the age 20, it was
24.
23, 24,
Yeah.
until you started to really tune in, get back to meditation, etc. But with all the experience that you have had in your younger life, it's really bizarre to me that it took you so long to be able to say, I have to tune back in to the divine. I think that's so bizarre. What
Yes.
do you think how, now that you know what happened, how would you handle it differently?
Well, we're all miracles, and we're all miraculous 4-year-olds. We were all from heaven. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. And what have we done? Haven't we abused ourselves, abused others, and look at war and everything we do? And don't people have their addictions and their crises, or their small defeats, even just being afraid of life or not being willing to do anything with their lives? And so we could say that of anybody, actually. We're all miracles, and what did you do with it? And why did you let it happen this way? But let's not focus on that. Let's awaken today. Do you agree with me? And let's go forward as angels, regardless of whatever horrible thing happened. Even in Buddhism, there's an axe murderer that became a saint. So if he can do that, there's literally a statue of him. It's a real person. It's a real statue. I saw it myself. And this person went through all that. So we can heal also, and we can have that amazing transformation. But there's also, the higher you go, the lower you can go. And so many, many people through my career, I started since a child, but 100% every day, all day, full time, 1987. I started in 1987. And helping people every day. And I've heard many, many thousands of times that people had an enlightenment or some kind of awakening, and then they just crashed. It's happened over and over again. So it's not about going up, it's about going up and healing. Go up and heal. If you don't heal, you're going to go up and you're going to crash. And that's what happened to me. So I would do the healing, what I call spiritual psychological healing.
Do you believe in twin souls and soulmates?
Yeah. Difference between twin soul and soulmate. Okay. I have to ask Spirit. Explain, please. Twin soul is someone that you are karmically destined to meet over and over again, and they're a close part of your soul family, so much that you're like brother and sister. You're therefore the description like twins. So you're connected, and you keep experiencing the universe together. So it's not that much different, except you have soulmates for a period of time that could be 10,000 years or 100,000 years, or just for this lifetime. And soulmate simply means, imagine like a travel mate, like you're simply in heaven saying, hey, let's meet. And, instead of saying, let's go to, Anaheim and go to some tea shop I like or something, let's go to the earth and let's have an experience there. You agree to meet and enjoy life together, or have challenges together. Or if you're in that warrior archetype, fight together, because that's the warrior learns through fighting, which is fine. It's just another experience.
You mentioned earlier about the Reiki instructor and you saw light. Do you ever look at somebody and see real darkness and go, oh my God, I need to talk to this person?
Yeah, they're in our mass media. There are our newscasters and our military and our politicians and all that. So we see them more than everybody else. They're on TV. So the word devil or demon is losing kind of, cachet, especially with young people. It's like, what is that? So I say lower fourth dimensional predatory entity. That kind of is more modern. The same thing. So yeah, and it's not about the people. It's not about the people. Because did people write me off when I was alcoholic? Yeah, he's not going to amount to anything. So it's easy to just say, forget you. You're a bad person, or you did something terrible, or even murder or something. It's not about the person, it's about the spirits that are influencing them. Because who am I? I'm nobody. It's spirit working through me that matters, not me. Because again, there was someone before me and there's someone after me. It's not about me. And it's that person that's doing war or whatever's going on, Canadian government and all the other things going on, it's not about them. It's about the entities that are influencing them. We have to go to cause, not effect. We have to do the spiritual challenge, not the physical war. I'm not saying don't defend your home. I'm not saying don't, take care of your family. I'm saying we have to get to the root cause, which is spiritual. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing that up.
I have a follow-up.
Yeah.
What I meant to say is, have you ever walked through an airport and saw somebody and you just wanted to walk up to them and say, don't do that?
Yeah, I usually, because they're not receptive, that's not karmically helpful. I just send them a blessing. I send them healing and see what we can do to help them in the spirit world. Yes, that has happened.
You mentioned karma, predestination, and selection of our parents.
Yeah.
Selection of soulmates, perhaps.
Yes.
My question for you would be, what is the purpose of this life? And is it to evolve? You mentioned moving towards enlightenment, 1 million years from becoming an angel. So is the purpose to experience and evolve, or something else?
It's a paradox. So the angels are also working. So there's something that I call beginner's mind. So that I don't get too much ego, because tens of thousands of people are thanking me constantly. The practice is to always come back to beginner's mind, like I'm a practitioner too. I'm a servant of God also. So we're all equal as servants, but we have different roles. And that helps me not to think like, I've arrived, put the red carpet out for me and all that. So, but the paradox is we're all equal as servants of the divine, but we're all working toward God. So the angels, even they're 1 million years from now, they're working. There's always another mountain to climb. So it's both. It's a paradox. But the meaning, Spirit said, don't forget his point. The meaning is to give life meaning. So there's no meaning. You come here to experience life, and there's no predetermined meaning for you. So that's why atheists are also, the spiritual universe is beautiful. Atheists are correct. There's nowhere to go. They're going to melt into nothingness because they don't maintain their consciousness after they pass away, and there's no meaning to their life. So they're actually correct. So God's just, smiling and happy with everybody because everybody's correct in some way in a paradox of the universe. But what we're here to do is give life meaning. So you have to decide, because you have agency. You're a spark of the divine. So you have that authority. You have the responsibility and authority to decide what is the meaning of your life. And you can decide nothing, it doesn't have any meaning, or I don't know, or somebody help me come up with an idea, and anything that you do that is helping people is good. Open up a dance studio, shoe shop, race car driver, this strange guy that talks to spirit, or whatever you want to do.
I often see into other dimensions, but I don't hear or always understand what the beings are trying to tell me or relate to me. So how can I guess, open myself up more to be more aware of what they're saying?
Yeah, awesome.
Or what their message is.
I would say meditation is absolutely essential because you have to find deeper levels of quiet. There's a level of quiet where it's super, super loud. And they tell me once, I'll tell a little story. Change your whole plans for the day. Go to that bookstore over there. It's like 2 hours away. And I'm obedient. So I go. As I walk in, it's a bookstore that has a back entrance for the parking lot. Somebody I haven't seen in 10 years is walking in exactly at the same moment from the back. And that doesn't happen if I'm not obedient. So there's two things. We're having a play with God of what do you want me to do today? And you're not hearing it great at first, but just, oh, you want me to go to the ice cream shop? Okay. And you're just supposed to give that person a blessing or something. So act on your intuition the best you can. Even if it seems like there's no reason for me to be here, nothing happened, just do your best to follow instructions as best as you can hear it. Because as you take those little steps, by being faithful, it'll get louder by taking that action. And then the second thing is, so that's the action part. The second part is more silent meditation, more silent meditation. And you get, the spirit is being fully loud. We're not hearing. We have too much noise. So we have to get quieter. So please understand, spirit is telling you everything perfectly at a beautiful volume. It's your mind's busyness that's not letting you hear it. So meditation, you just have to get quieter.
Do you think that through dreams, that's one way that the other dimension communicates? That's, for me, been some experiences that go way back, maybe 5 dreams that communicating, including my husband with Alzheimer's. And that was interesting too, because it seemed as if when all the rational parts are gone, that inner being, and this was everybody in the facility that I noticed too, going every day, is that came out, the inner child, the love, the love that exudes from these people is amazing.
Yes.
And that's all. I just...
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for bringing that up. That's really important. So this world is a dream, according to the angels. And you're going to a real place when you dream. But it's, again, a paradox. You're really there. So if you're in, the Renaissance or whatever your experience was, you're really there. Or you go to other, I go to other Earths. They're not, like there's different land masses or different countries and different things like that, but it's the Earth, but it's a little different. Or whatever you're experiencing, whatever beings you're experiencing, you're really there. And it's also spiritual, psychological, it's also archetypes. So you're also, everything in the dream is you and symbols. So it's both absolutely real and absolutely symbolic. And everything in the dream, including the environment, is symbolic of parts of you. But that's the same with this world. You're really here, you're really sitting in a chair, and you're really interacting with this strange person up here. And it's all symbols for you. And you're also me and the room, and you're also everything. So it's the same with this world and the dream world. And so you can work with your dreams. You can set an intention, tonight I will dream this, and you can work with your dreams. And so the dream world is simply alternate realities. And as you go up your mountain, as you go up into your enlightenment, you'll go to higher and higher dimensions and interact with those beings.
There are lots of methods of meditation. I was just curious as to what you use.
Thank you. And you're also receiving applause from the angels. So isn't Spirit amazing? It's like Spanda's not, didn't remember to say all these things, and he's telling you guys to ask those parts that I didn't get to. So that's awesome. Meditation. Yeah, so I think meditation is not always taught that wonderfully. I asked someone, how long have you been meditating? 30 years. How's your meditation? Frustrating. So I sometimes call it an appointment for disappointment. So we're taught to quiet our mind, and that's not going to work. The mind's not designed to be quiet. So there's kind of like, it's just a war. It's an experience for a battle or for frustration. So please change meditation. Meditation is being a loving friend to yourself. It's an appointment to be a loving friend to yourself. So your friend, unless you have perfect friends, says silly things like, wow, that was a really dumb thing to say. Angry thing, has your friend ever been angry? I mean, I have friends that have gotten angry. Have they been sad? Of course. So your friend's saying stuff, and do you say, hey, knucklehead, if you keep saying this, I'll never talk to you again, then you're not going to have any friends. Are you cruel to your friends? Are you judgmental with your friends? They're going to split. And we're treating ourselves that way. And sometimes you don't have to raise your hand. You have an overly permissive childhood. Anybody experience that? Or repressive childhood. I couldn't drop a glass of water. I'd get whooped. I couldn't make any mistakes. Everything had to be perfect. And I have a friend that, you could come home at 11 o'clock at night and you're like 7 years old. No, anything went. Over permissiveness. These are both going to create disaster. What was your story? How were you reared? And so, what kind of friend are you being to yourself? And so in meditation, you're simply, don't try to quiet your mind. That'll come later. Let your mind talk and be a good friend to your thoughts, but from the place of a friend. Don't engage in the thoughts. Don't engage in the emotions. So the meditation I recommend to you, and I'm giving you today, is a leaf is floating on a stream. So each thought is a leaf on a little stream of water, and you just don't try to grab the thought. Don't try to grab the leaf. Don't pull it to you, and don't push it away as it's going. Just let it go. You pay attention with love and compassion. Don't judge it. Don't engage, and just be the loving friend and let it go. And if you practice the leaf on the stream as a good friend, the leaf is you. It's your thoughts, and you have this detachment. This works. Meditation is like anything else in life, whether it's martial arts or learning archery or bowling or whatever you do, or the work that you've done. You have to practice. How do tennis players get great? Have you heard that? 10,000 hours. You've got to put that in expertise. So you have to meditate for 10,000 hours. But if you're meditating incorrectly, those are all for naught. So don't try to stop your mind. Be a good friend to your mind. Listen, learn, be compassionate, be loving as your mind is doing its thing. And as you are not in judgment anymore, and as you don't engage in the negative emotions that your mind is coming up with, it'll loosen its death grip. And then, if you do that for 90 days, your meditation will be vastly superior, and your mind will start being quiet. But you have to do it every day for 90 days. Or you can spread it out. It can be over a year or 10 years. It's up to you.
Hi, you may have already essentially addressed this, but I have always failed at meditating. I've tried, Armand.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I failed at meditation. Either I fall asleep, which is maybe only 15 or 20% of the time, but the rest of it, I sort of try to quiet my mind and rest and sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't seem to get anywhere. So
Yes.
I guess in a way I'm wondering if there's some guidelines or some directions or something that you could point out.
Yeah, so you're advanced. You've reached the advanced level. So you're going so high that your nervous system can't hold the energy and you conk out. If you were a more dull person in this lifetime, you'd be able to stay, perfectly alert through the whole thing. The higher you're going, you will pass out. It's in the Bible. Angels show up to these people and they hit the ground. There was a person that came to everything I did for years. Smallest talk, biggest event, traveled with me, everything. 100% of the time she conked out. She couldn't receive the energy in a conscious state. So you're simply not receiving the energy in a conscious state because it's so high. So walking meditation. And you're not going to conk out while you're walking. And be present with every step and everything that you see. And if you do that, then you can do standing meditation, and then you can do sitting meditation. That might take a year if you want to put the energy in to do it. Good for you. There's a wonderful energy.
I have a very different experience when I try meditation. I've been in a lot of different groups, and there's a lot of different kinds of meditations. And we come out of the session, for me, every single time, people were going, "Oh, thank you so much, that was so wonderful," and I'm going, what? I mean, this is, I never experience what everybody else experiences, and I really try to partake in it. So what's up with that?
It's just like I'm sitting there and nothing's happening. Is that like what it is? Okay, half of those people are lying. Nothing happened. The other person said, "Ooh, I saw angels," or something. Like, yeah, mine was great too. That's not all real. But in any case, meditation does not have to be some, like I saw lights or color or anything. It's simply an opportunity to love the moment and continually bring your presence back to yourself. Then your mind wanders. And bring your presence back to yourself and your mind wanders. So imagine almost like a breath in and out, and focus on love. And whether you do that for a minute, 20 minutes, or an hour, you had an experience of love. Just focus on love. And then maybe something will happen. Or maybe next lifetime, it's okay. So because we have millions of years, when we tell the angels, "I want something right now," it's like, well, you're getting that 10,000 years from now. It's fine, the perspective of time. But also, you can, okay, they're telling me to give you a specific gift. This is a secret, don't let anyone else know this. Ask for what to ask. Because how do we know? The angels know a better question, for sure, than we do. So say, Spirit, God, angels, spirit guides, help me ask what to ask. Tell me what to ask.
Hi, I've done meditation for many years, on and off, in groups or just by myself. And it doesn't take long for me to get very, very deep and even go out of my body or elevate. And a few times I've actually encountered Kundalini experiences, which was rather terrifying.
Kriyas.
And I didn't know what it was at first. And I'm actually still afraid of it.
So in India, they call it kriyas. There's or undulations. There's it can express itself as heat, some kind of vibration, some kind of strange feeling. So just like a light is not efficiently transmitting all of its energy as visual light, and some of it's being shed as heat, you haven't done whatever is the spiritual work in your life to have that much energy run through your body, and some of it's coming off as what they call in India kriyas, or kundalini or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just an inefficiency of your spiritual nervous system. It can't hurt you. But some people go through, uncontrollable undulations, or they feel intense heat, or strange things are happening, or vibration, or something. Yeah, that's simply, imagine the heat coming off a light bulb. It's just an inefficiency. So then you want to imagine light coming down. You want to fill your body with light. Imagine God's light, the divine's light, and coming into your fingers and your toes, and coming in, not out. You were born with, really good antenna. You're already connected. This lifetime is come here. So that's why the chakras were purposefully numbered down, because we're already up, but come into the body. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you can even do that. Like I'm coming through the light. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So focus down into your toes. Yeah, that's a great question. This is so much more fun to do together. Thank you. Do we have a few minutes? If we have a few minutes, I'm going to do a healing. Is that okay? If you don't want healing, do this. X. I don't want any healing because I don't want to do something against your will. He did a healing and I said no. No, just do this and it won't go to you. Okay, this is, I'm going to try to do this and still stay in frame and next to the microphone somehow. Okay. And then you haven't seen me do this. This is called Supreme Bright Light. So since you haven't seen it before, keep your eyes open and watch, because there's a visual component. And then afterward, if we do healing again, you don't have to look ever again if you don't want to. But just keep your eyes open this first time. Okay. Ready? Beginning Supreme Bright Light. It's complete, thank you. I did that really fast. It's usually like 5 minutes, but Spirit Guide said, do it very quickly. My name is Spanda. My website is soulbasedliving.us. I have an upcoming trip to Japan. You're welcome to come with us. There'll be meditation, there'll be healing, lots of fun. I'm planning a trip to France that was canceled by exactly the week we were told to stop traveling with COVID. So we will plan that again, and I'm going to speak in Dubai. Those are the next 3 trips. And you guys are awesome. I do have more messages for you. I do want to talk with you again when we have time. Great energy, and you're enough. You're all the world needs. We don't need anyone else to do anything. If they help, great. But if you do the work of the divine that you're inspired to do, this is enough people to heal the world. And this country was formed by 80 people with all of their friends and family and all those sacrifices. So we can do this.
Let it go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.